Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
For you all, 92 degrees. This Festival of the Holy Name, I lost track how many years we've been having this, many, many years. And it's a good opportunity to refocus our attention on the chanting of the Holy Name, especially, and other forms of hearing and chanting. Because the other forms of hearing and chanting, they accompany the Holy Name. This is one of Bhaktisiddhanta's teachings I like very much. We don't worship Krishna alone, we worship Krishna with Radha, with his feminine counterpart. Similarly, we chant the Holy Name in combination with Harikatha. And the Harikatha is the feminine feature, and the Holy Name is the masculine feature. So we do both regularly. And in the course of our efforts to cultivate sadhana bhakti, and move further and further and further, ideally, move further and further towards the goal, towards Krishna himself. This topic for our lead discussion is from Rupa Goswami's writings. You are all quite familiar, I'm sure. From Upadeshamrita, Utsahanishaya Dairyat, the first three of these principles of making progress, essential principles for making progress. Here's painting of the cover, two covers of Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction. And those, it's under the topic of things that are favorable for bhakti. Basics, very simple basics. Here's the verse, we all are familiar with the verse. Say it responsibly. Utsahanishayat dharyat tatat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vrite shadbhir bhaktir prasidhyati. Another time. Utsahan nishchayat dharyat tatat karna pravartanat sangatyagat sato vrite shadbhir bhakti prasidhyati. So this is color-coded. Yellow, blue, and I guess that's a pink color. There are 6 principles favorable for the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to the regular principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. 5, abandoning the association of non-devotees. And 6, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Sangatyagat, Sato Vrite, Sadbhir, Bhaktir. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure complete success in pure devotional service. So these first 3 enable number 4, this proper following through hearing, chanting, and remembering, proper following through qualitative enthusiasm, patience, and firm conviction. So we plan to go through each of these. Like the mind, we know we have one. At least most people I know have one. And we don't see the actions of the mind, but we can see the effects of the mind when it's concentrated. And it's our inner life, in other words. There's external behaviors, and then this is an internal cultivation. Enthusiasm leads to enthusiastic action, and so forth. And they're interconnected. One assists the other, assists the other, assists the other. One enables the other, enables the other. So the starting point is this first one, utsaha, enthusiasm. And as that moves, the other moves, and the other moves. So the starting point, let's get the starting point correct. Now, this, of course, what Rupa Goswami writes, gosh, we have so many controls of everything. Yeah, it's okay. The sound seems a little loud. It's okay? Okay. What if I do this? Much better. Strawberry. Rupa Goswami is drawing, of course, from Shastra and teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu unto him, and in the science of bhakti. And it's not a surprise that persons who are outside of the science of bhakti understand these principles, because they're principles of life. Here's a little cute one. Emerson, nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. I remember one of the classes Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj gave. I like, there was a time when I just listened to his classes all the time, because he's so lucid and keeps things simple. And he told a nice story about this utsahan and utsamayi, false enthusiasm. Endeavoring with intelligence in Krishna consciousness is called utsaha. That's a nice definition. Endeavoring with intelligence. Or executed with intelligence. When false enthusiasm, utsaha mayi, was described, Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj gave a nice example. The nice example was, one time he was at the Bhaktivedanta Manor, and George Harrison was paying a visit. Sri Radha, can you remember hearing this one? You've heard it many times, right? So when George Harrison, he came up in a big limousine, and it does rain every now and then in London, like a lot. And so when he got out of the car, one devotee did what you see on the screen. He just paid his obeisances and laid down in a puddle and got his dhoti and everything all soaking wet and muddy. And George said, "You didn't have to do that." False enthusiasm. Overconfidence, over-enthusiastic, but it's so the right measure that is guided by or executed with intelligence. So intelligence in Krishna consciousness. Buddhi. Jiva Goswami explains this in Bhakti Sandarbha. Naturally, it's Jiva Goswami's, Rupa Goswami's writings, and Jiva Goswami elaborating on it. Two methods of taking shelter of the Lord. I have no other shelter but you. And then the other is giving up the other shelters, using good intelligence. That's Jiva Goswami's analysis. Intelligence has to guide both. So here's a reference. O Uddhava, give up Shruti and Smriti, the path of enjoyment, the path of renunciation, desire to hear more about Dharma and what you have already heard about Dharma. Surrender to me alone, the soul of all beings, using all methods with bhava in your mind. You will be fearless by my mercy. So that sounds like a paraphrase or a restatement of 1866. And as we know, 1866 is, for some sampradayas, charma sloka of Bhagavad Gita. It's the most essential teaching of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Mamikam sharanam. But then you become fearless. Amtam sarva papebhyo moksha yashami masucha. Give up all fear. Just take full shelter and leave aside all other shelters. So to discriminate what's shelter and what's other shelters, that takes intelligence. And where does intelligence come from? Krishna. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. And who does Krishna give that buddhi to? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. So the formula is very simple, very direct. Here's another example he gives, also from the 11th canto Bhagavatam. O Lord, for one who is being tormented on the terrible path of birth and death, and is constantly overwhelmed by the threefold miseries, I do not see any shelter other than your two lotus feet, which are like a refreshing umbrella that pours showers of nectar. Umbrella that pours showers of nectar. There's a metaphor within a metaphor within a metaphor. So giving up all other shelters and taking exclusive shelter, that's intelligence. Recognizing there is no other and committing to the one, it's intelligence. Now, many people are 50-50 or mixed. This bhakti that's mixed, and then there's unmixed. So this is another Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj description. When Prahlad Maharaj was pushed off the cliff, it's not that right away Lord Vishnu showed, I'm here to catch you. Prahlad was falling and falling and falling over the cliff, and at the last minute Lord Vishnu caught him. And as if, this is Prahlad, not us, as if Vishnu wanted to see what's he going to do as he's falling and falling and falling. Is he going to scream? What's he going to do? But he was confident because he had the shelter of the personality of Godhead. Nayam tvam asya sharanam brahmato nu pashe. I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of your lotus feet, one cannot be happy. Now, Prahlad Maharaj is pure devotee. He's not a pleasure seeker. So he's not seeking relief from and getting what's wanted instead of what's unwanted. His position is exclusive shelter in the personality of Godhead, come what may. That's the pure devotee. Well, there's nothing that can deter that. good fortune, ill fortune. Nothing can deter it. Nothing can move it. There's so many nice Prabhupada pastimes to illustrate this. The one that's in my mind at the moment is the devotees riding from Mayapur to Calcutta after a Mayapur festival, and riding along the side of the road, right along the road, over the side of the road, there's a car wreck. And in the car wreck, the car was mangled, and the person who was in the car, the driver apparently, his bodily parts were here and there. And the devotees were looking out the window going, "Oh my God, look at that." And they looked at Prabhupada, and he was just, not that he didn't know, he just, who knows why he was unfazed, but totally unfazed. He's not callous. He's not an impersonalist. I don't feel anything. I'm numb. That's not it. He was giving a nice lesson to one who is beyond this extreme or that extreme, happiness and distress. Or a nice example, there's been so many nice examples, when the manuscript, the Bhagavad Gita manuscript that he had been working on for so long was stolen. What's somebody going to do with a manuscript of Bhagavad Gita anyways, in a rinky, ancient typewriter? And Prabhupada didn't blink, and he just started over again. So, in either end of the spectrum, good fortune, ill fortune, not because of being a Taoist or an existentialist. It doesn't matter. I'm numb, but with full absorption in the higher purpose of life, and challenging circumstances may test it for each of us in different ways. And what are we going to do? What's going to be the situation? Now, we're not on such an elevated platform as Prahlad Maharaj or Srila Prabhupada. We have limitations. Here's some examples. Our very material existence, it's mysterious. Even if you're a scientist, lots of mysteries, and one tries making efforts by study and so forth. But how is that going to be understood? Brahma knew how to build the universe. We're trying to sort our way through it. But there's lots of mystery that intelligence can't penetrate. That's the point. Each self-healing body housing a soul is itself mysterious. I remember specifically one time I had a problem with my ear. There was a buildup of wax in my ear, and I couldn't hear. So I made an appointment with a medical doctor. This was in New York City. And to get an appointment with a medical doctor in New York City with Medicaid, it takes a year and a half. So I went, by the time I got to the medical doctor, it was a Chinese guy, and I told him I came anyways, because it took a long time to get this appointment with you, but this big glob of black gucky stuff fell out of my ear. And he just, got his little machine to look in my ear to make sure everything's okay in there, and said the body has this way of just healing itself. That was what he said. So it was just a quick appointment, a long time to get the appointment, sitting in the waiting room. That was the memorable part. But his words were also like, and how does it happen? It's not like because he's a medical doctor and a hearing specialist, an ear specialist, he knows the answer. It's a mystery. There is yet no physical law that explains both micro and macro phenomena simultaneously. eighth grade science. Anyway, there's no known cause for cancer after so much. The remedies are awful, but the cause is something else. And, this other example, how does a cherry tree or apple tree or a peach tree know how to take from the earth everything that makes the cherry or the apple or the peach or the tomato or anything? There's lots of unknown. And at some point in time for each of us, the approaching of death is going to come, because everything that takes birth, death is for certain. Everything that is born, death is certain. Everything that dies, again, birth is certain. So there's a real shelter while we're passing through all of this unknown. All of this there's limitations to our intelligence. So what do you do when you have limited intelligence besides scratch your head and carry on? No, the intelligence, the higher intelligence is
Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. The last slide. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So any comment, question, points that you would like to share? Yes, share very Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, a very beautiful presentation, a very beautiful lecture. And what I really liked is something that was new for me, that Hari Nam should go along with Hari Katha, and Hari Nam is the masculine part, whereas Hari Katha is the feminine part. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Chennai Kashyap.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Today in this lecture from Maharaj, I like the definition of enthusiasm, where Prahlad Maharaj has no other shelter. That comment is, I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of your lotus feet, one cannot be happy. I like that very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. 1 minute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanva Pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
So very clear message.
Just 1 minute, Mataji. Prabhuji, I stopped sharing screen. Is the audio will be recorded from here?
Yes, yes, true.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, sorry, Mataji. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to share. Maharaj has explained it very clearly, or in a very plain words. It's whatever simplest words he can use, that we should not have any other shelter, because it's not going to work. The only thing which is going to really work, really going to give us shelter, is the Krishna. And sooner or later we should realize and move only towards him. The only happiness or shelter, what we are actually looking for everywhere, we will get only with him. So that's what I wanted to share. Hare Krishna Prabhu. And
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. I also like the same point, but and I feel like I am way far away from all of this, where uh, like, only recognizing that the Krishna is only shelter, and I have so many shelter with me. So uh, I need to see how I can progress for this. Thank you so much.
same Prabhu. I try to ensure all other shelters,
Yeah,
leaving not giving time for the real shelter. So that's what I am.
thank you. Hare Krishna. Anybody would like to share? I like one more point about Smriti and Shruti, where Krishna is saying to Uddhava where we should be away from path of enjoyment as well as renunciation. It should not be both of this. So it should be the service to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Shamali Mataji, you want to say something?
No, Prabhu, nothing. Sorry, I got unmuted.
One question I think here, Prabhu. Um, it's I forgot now. I recalled it again. We should not have the Smriti and Shruti. Renunciation also should not be our path.
Yes.
But then I understand that the bhakti can be done living in a way where we are. So renunciation here is the only meaning, that we should not have expectation. No other meaning of renunciation here. I wanted to confirm. Or is there something else?
Uh, Anybody like to address this? Dilip Prabhu, Harisham Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, bro. Sorry, bro. I have to start office early today. I'm
Oh,
kind of getting ready and doing it in parallel. So I'll just listen today, bro.
oh.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Kumarika.
I will attempt to answer Mataji's questions. Actually, when Maharaj is telling that, or when the scripture, he is quoting the scripture which is telling that both renunciation and complete, and that enjoyment spirit should not be there. There, the extreme, the renunciation of the jnanis, which is referred to here. So they renounce everything, even things which can be used in the service of Krishna. That sort of renunciation is called by Rupa Goswami as Falgu, and it is not. It is shallow, or it is not correct renunciation. So what Rupa Goswami advises is Yukta Vairagya, that whatever is can be used for Krishna service should not be renounced. So it is a very practical way in which that if you are doing some occupational duty and you are earning something, it is not that we have to renounce everything and go to the forest and then only you can do bhakti. You can be in the grihastha ashrama, you can accept the things which are coming to you by previous karma, whatever you are inheriting, and whatever you are earning, all that can be employed in the service of the Lord. So too much of renunciation goes towards the Jnani's way of rejecting everything that is material. So that is what is that, not too much of renunciation and not that enjoying spirit. Both are mentioned like that.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Anybody like to add any point, comment? So if nothing is there, we can stop here. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.